I'm dedicating this really quickly to my fellow wildland firefighters, who I'll be joining on Friday. Fire call, baby. Okay, so, one of you wondering if I look a little young, I am 18. It's a common misconception. Okay, so I'm just going to tell a story really quick, 10 minutes really quick, so it's 24, 34, I'll be done, probably sooner. Okay, so this is kind of a story that spans almost my entire life, which is not that long, granted, but it's okay, I guess. It starts when I was like 5. This is supposed to be kind of funny, so you can laugh. Don't feel like, because sometimes I sit there and I'm like, am I supposed to laugh at this, or am I supposed to just sit there? But like, you can laugh, it's fine. You can laugh at me if you want, like that's even more fine. I don't care, really. But, so, my dad, when I was about 5, had this like cyst on his chest, right here. Like, I don't know. Below me, it's like just below my boobs, but I don't know anything about like guy chest or what they call that. So like right here, a little bit above your belly button, he had this cyst. And I asked him about it one day, because I was like, I was 5. 5-year-olds ask about everything, seriously. A 5-year-old once asked me why I dressed like a boy but was a girl, and I was like, I don't have an answer to that either, sorry. But, so he comes up, so I come up and I'm like, hey, what is that? And he tells me, for whatever godforsaken reason, he looks me in the eyes, a 5-year-old, who has no idea of any anatomy. You know, I have to get a sex ed class, I have no idea. So he looks me in the eyes and goes, it's a 3rd nipple. And I'm like, what the? Are there kids in the crowd? I just wanna know, right? I can swear, right?
Go for it.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is that? So I ran around school and I'm like, does your dad also have a 3rd nipple? To all of my friends, and they're like, who the fuck are you? What? And so, finally, I forgot about it, right? Because as 5-year-olds are wont to do, just about 2 days later, everything he's put in their head just spits out the other ear 2 days later onto the floor, like a hairball or something. You're like, what is this? So afterward, you're like, okay, cool, that's cool. So five years later, I'm about 6 now, and my dad, have you ever had like a really big pimple on your face, and you're like, I'm gonna pop this thing. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be beautiful and glorious, and I'm gonna love it. And you put yourself in front of the mirror, and you're like squeezing it, and then it explodes. It's not pretty, and it's not good, and you don't love it. It's not fun. All of the acne scars on my face are because of that. So, my dad tries to do that in front of the mirror, but instead of it's a cyst, approximately, once removed, the size of what do you call it, the first part of your thumb. Literally try to pop that out of his chest, like that would work. So he goes up and he tries to do it, and naturally, it doesn't go well. So he calls my mom, and he's like, this is in the middle of the night, I have no idea what's going on, I'm asleep. He calls my mom, and he's like, I think we need to go to the hospital. And she's like, what? He's like, I need to go to the hospital, you know, it's all red and inflamed. She's like, did you try to fucking pop that thing? And he's like, well, yeah. It's been here for a while. She's like, what is wrong with you? And the funny thing is so my grandpa's a surgeon, a surgeon from the 60s, but a surgeon nonetheless. My dad got a similar cyst, same kind of growth on his hand, right about here. My grandpa took that out with a kitchen knife. Old Filipino man coming up, slices that thing open, pops it out, puts it on the counter. He's like, that's it. That's what was in your hand. That is my grandfather. I love him very much. But he knew that my grandfather could do that. Yet, somehow, something deep inside of him possessed him to try to pop that. So he was like, all right, I'm going to pop this thing. So he goes to the hospital, and all of a sudden I hear my Auntie Fred come in. Auntie Fred, great lady, did not tell us anything about what was going on. So all of a sudden you hear this huge commotion. My parents are like running out the door. My aunt comes in, and it's crazy. And then I go back to sleep, because I mean the world could be falling down and I would be half asleep, and I'd be like, okay, I'm going back to sleep, whatever. But I'm sitting there, wake up the next morning, and my dad's back, and I vaguely remember the whole switching of guardians thing in the middle of the night. I vaguely remember that. So I'm like, hey Dad, where'd you go? And he looks at me, and he looks me in the eyes. He gets down, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna tell you a secret. Do you know the only way to get an entire room of 5-year-olds to shut up? 4 words, I have a secret. before. I have a secret. That's it. They will shut up because secrets are like crack for kids. I mean, they're like crack for teenagers too, but like, whatever. I'm above that. I don't care. But so it's like he sits there and he's like, I have a secret. And there's a time I'm like, yes, tell me everything. I want to know because I don't know what the deal with kids and secrets is. I think it's just because they think they're like this mystical thing when in reality everybody has a secret and it doesn't really matter, especially an adult. So I'm like, yes, Dad, tell me this secret. And he looks me in the eyes again, very seriously. You know, just looks me in the eyes and goes, I went to the hospital last night because my third nipple was itching. And I was like, okay, I'm like ready to go, I'm raring. I'm like, do it, tell me. He's like, okay, my third nipple was itching, so I went to the hospital. When I got there, they took me to a room immediately. As if when you go to the hospital, you don't sit there in the waiting room for like 40 minutes. I had an asthma attack once, and they let me sit in the ambulance for 10 minutes while they processed my paperwork and then sent me into a room. They didn't even give me a nebulizer until 20 minutes in. I could have died. But, you know, whatever, hospitals, I guess. We paid $3,000 for it anyway, so what does it matter? So he sits there and he's like, took me into this room in the back of the hospital, as if hospitals have a back, I don't know. Of course, I'm 5, I'd never been to a hospital before, you know, I've only gone to a hospital when my sister was being born, and even then it was quite a traumatic experience for me. But I'm sitting there, and he tells me, so he goes to this back room, and right when they get in there, his chest just starts bubbling, like this. And from inside of there pops out this little alien. That's what he tells me, a 5-year-old. Okay? I don't know any reason behind it. He just said, he's like, he just made all of this up in the span of a second and just spat that out to me. And he's not a bad dad. I love my dad so much and he's great. But he just thrives off chaos like that. It's kind of disturbing. So he's like this, and then they took it and they put it in a jar. And then they gave it to a man in a NASA uniform. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe. And of course, you know, again, no such thing as a NASA uniform. Like, what are they wearing, a lab coat with a giant crest on the back? I have no idea. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is amazing. NASA came, and he's like, and then they took it away and told me to never tell anyone about it again. So you can't tell anybody that I told you this because it's a government secret. And I'm like, whoa. To a 5-year-old, that's like handing them a bar of gold and being like, here you go, don't tell anybody. It's like, no. So I'm sitting there, and of course, again, I forget about it until years later when, have any of you guys seen the movie Spaceballs? Yeah, great movie. So this guy, so they never let me watch Spaceballs until I was about 11 because, okay, so is anyone in the crowd here Filipino? Just out of, no, wow. Oh, this is gonna get, you? Bro, I feel. So, Filipinos have this word for inappropriate things. It's called bastos. So if you ever hear a Filipino mom dragging, let me think. Itan, kita over here. No, that's bastos. After she finds him like trying to look up porn or something on his fucking little iPhones that all the kids have nowadays. Yeah, that means that's super inappropriate and she does not like that. So they didn't let me watch it on the claims that it was bastos. So I'm like, okay, I believe them. They're my parents. I'm like, okay. And a couple minutes later, you know, at the end of the movie, the scene where the alien pops out of his chest, the spoof-off aliens, which obviously do not ever let an 11-year-old watch aliens. It's a bad idea. So Spaceballs was a watered-down version of that. The scene where they're sitting, he says, I'll order the special, and then some dude with the rest of, you know, with Sigourney Weaver standing back there, he falls on the table and like a little alien thing pops out of his chest. In that moment, it clicked for me, after 11 years of living, that my dad was a liar. And there was never an alien baby in his chest. And he lied to me for an elaborate lie that spanned the course of basically 11 years. And when I confronted him about it, he had totally forgotten. And he just laughed so hard he cried. And that's 34.